everyone, my name is Callie and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. The video that I'm going to talk about today is Rose Etude number 8, Allegro. Now, as you're preparing this, I want you guys to keep in mind that the character of the piece is more important than the speed of the piece. So while it is printed at Allegro, which means it should be rapid, lively, pretty fast, you should take it at a tempo that you can play in character at. So whatever that tempo is for you is whatever you should do. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't strive for whatever fast, fiery, crazy tempo you want. I'm just saying whatever you end up performing it at is going to have to be a compromise between what you wish you could do and, you know, what you actually can do. And so some of the tips that I'm going to give you today are a few things that I did in my practice to try to really prepare this well and also make it a little bit more fun. I actually want to start right in the middle of the piece where we have these octave leaps. So one of the things that I think is actually quite scary about this, you know, if you're recording a run through of this and, you know, you're like, oh man, where are some of these trouble spots? That tends to be one of the big trouble spots. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, last weekend I did a Clarinet's Cats and Coffee episode on strengthening the muscles in the right hand. So that is going to be very useful if you work on strengthening your right hand muscles for balance. Another very useful exercise is from the previous week of Clarinet's Cats and Coffee, where I share a close etude, just nice smooth triplets going over the break, and it really helps kind of develop and hone in on the skill of playing very legato over the break. Now, of course, you look at this and you're like, oh, well, there's a lot of articulation and legato all over the place. But the thing is, legato air is the kind of air you want to use for everything you play. You want nice, full air support connecting everything you do. And the note length and articulation can be, you know, it's just a variation on your legato air. And lastly, I shared a video about a month ago on a clarinet legato warm-up. So that's an excellent warm-up. You actually practice going over the break with 12th, so you use the register key and you play through a number, basically the whole chromatic scale playing in 12ths, and it's a nice meditative way to practice legato air and going over the break. So now you have 3 little exercises to do to help you with legato air, playing legato over the break, and also strengthening the muscles of your right hand. So now if we look at this little chunk right here with the octaves, assuming, you know, you've done your work for the day, your little exercises and everything, and we're ready to really dive in, here are some of the tips that I have for working on this. Now, one really great practice tip that I learned actually from a trombone teacher friend of mine is what I call note vocalization. And you don't have to sing the note or anything. You just say the note and you do the fingering of the note. And of course, you know, trombone players, I think he was doing this for trombone students. He teaches just all low brass. But anyway, so you do the fingering for the note and you say the note out loud. And I know it seems very elementary because you're looking at your music and you're like, well, I know that's a G, and that's a G, and that's an A, and that's an A. But clarinet has different fingerings for different octaves of notes. And so these little octave leaps right here, while it may be an easy on, you know, say like maybe a saxophone or a flute or something, it's actually really difficult for us fingering wise. So you have to really process the fingerings that you're going to be playing. So literally all you have to do is say G, G, A, B, B, C, D, D, C sharp, C sharp, C, C, B, B. I almost got tongue-tied in there. And the faster you can do it accurately, the better. So once you're able to do that, you can practice playing the notes. And this is actually an example of where slow practice is very, very helpful. So as you are all very well aware, all of the registers on the clarinet, every single note has a slightly different feel to it. So you want to make sure that you play with proper air support. You don't want to change a bunch of stuff with your face consciously, or your air or anything consciously while you're playing these notes. So if you practice this passage very, very slowly, and you practice playing it with, first play it with the most beautiful legato sound you can, you're going to train your face to play these intervals. And so your brain doesn't care if you do something right or if you do something wrong. Your brain just cares that you do something at all, and it's going to remember whatever you do. So you have to train it to do exactly what you want it to do and to sound exactly how you want it to sound. So when I say slow, I mean slow. Once you're able to play that small chunk slowly, nice and legato with a beautiful even sound, then you can start practicing a little bit more strategically. So the next thing I'd like you guys to try is clipping the slur and then preparing your finger for the next note, and doing this very slowly. So again, I have a video on how, it's called how to play staccato faster, but it's actually a video on how to do this technique, which is called prepared fingers. And you do this combined with stop tonguing, and it kind of trains you to stay a little bit ahead of the above the notes with your fingers. So check it out. So if you do that enough times, you'll actually train yourself to play that very, very accurately once you work on speeding it up. And so once you get that down, you have to match your slowest perfect tempo with a metronome and then gradually speed it up. And I recommend using the 2-click method. I've done numerous videos on the 2-click method, including a video last weekend on how to do the 2-click method with a complete demonstration of that. So make sure you're using this as a tool to help you not only stay in time and on time, but to push yourself into faster and faster tempos that maybe you never thought were possible. Yeah, this is a fun little E minor etude. There really aren't a lot of dynamic instructions written in the piece, as in there is zero, like nothing. So you can kind of take liberty to do what you like with it. Just make sure you're not doing it all just one dynamic with one kind of color. Use this as an opportunity to really exercise that musical muscle and, you know, use your instinct. If it sounds like there's a battle going on, such as the 4th line from the bottom, play it like a battle is going on. Just have fun with this. It's a really great piece, and take your time with it and just have fun and enjoy it. So if you guys have any practice tips you'd like to share with the community, please leave them in the comments below. And there are a couple things I want to make you guys aware of. I now have a Facebook page for Callie's Clarinet channel, so be sure to go on over there and start liking things, and it'd be nice to get a community atmosphere going there. I also have a Patreon page for those of you who would like to go one step further, but at the very very least, I appreciate that all of you are watching my content, and you're sharing it, and that it's useful in the clarinet community, so please enjoy everything that I'm putting out there. That being said, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching my videos, and as always, happy practicing.